Now you guys can hear me. I had myself muted. All right, so we're gonna get started here. As people come in, there's normally some stragglers that come in at the end or in the middle. I will have to pause and just let them in real quick. But welcome to tonight's workshop. We are going to be going over setup and how to learn just the parts of the Primal 7 system, how to use them properly, some troubleshooting, and whatever questions and answers I can help you guys with at the end. Just jot those questions down if you need, and we'll save them for at the end, okay? So I do have a second view here tonight. We'll see how this goes. I will, once we get up and set things up at the door, I wanted to have a separate camera closer so you guys can see all the moving parts and not be so far away. So after we go over a little bit in the beginning, I will flip you to the other camera so that you can see a shot of my door up a lot closer than it is right now. So I'll pin that up there for you guys a little bit later, okay? All right, so we'll get started. So tonight's workshop is on setup and how we can get you into the Primal 7 system quickly and efficiently and safely so you can start moving and exercising and starting your new lifestyle of exercise and moving. So what is Primal 7 basically, the system? It is a suspension system that helps you move safely and efficiently through better ranges of motion as you exercise. So it's used in body weight exercises such as the squat, row, and push-up, among others that you guys have seen before. So what Primal 7 does is with the assistance of that band, it's kind of like a workout buddy or a spotter. It helps you get into better alignment and better positioning so that you can move safely and efficiently through the movement. The biggest thing here is we want to make sure that we are avoiding injury as best we can. And we're getting away from those faulty and bad movement patterns that we might have been doing outside of the band and getting you into better movement patterns so you can avoid, like I said, all that injury and stuff, okay? It's also designed so that you can go a little bit slower through your range of motion and control it. Or you could also do holds, so like a supported squat hold, and you can work at different levels that way. So that's just a little bit about that Primal 7 system. A little bit about myself. Hi, I know a couple of you guys I've seen and talked to you guys before. I'm Jenna Ellis. I'm physical therapist and program director for Primal 7. I've been doing PT for over 10 years, mainly in the orthopedic setting. So seeing quite a bit of the athletic population in high school and colleges. But hold on one second, I'm like percentage. Okay, so not only seeing more athletics and college and high school athletes, but also everyday weekend warriors, people with knee pain, neck pain, ankle pain, whatever kind of things you've got. One more person here. So doing lots of PT in the orthopedic realm. So lots of surgeries that I've seen, lots of just everyday stuff. And I've also done some home health kind of on the side as well. So that's just a little bit about me. I love to run and move and exercise, do yoga, all that I need to really be able to keep up with my 3-year-old because he is quite active and takes quite a bit of energy throughout the day. So I need to stay active for him. That's enough about me. We'll get started here with the parts and moving things. So first thing I'm going to show you guys tonight are the attachment straps. Okay, we're going to go over each part and then I'm going to show you how to set it up. Okay, so here is an attachment for a bar attachment. So if you're mounting your Primal 7 system on a bar, like a pull-up bar, mounted in your garage or gym or wherever it is, this will give you a little extra length if you need it. I did an accountability class about a month and a half ago, and my internet at my house went out. So I had to quick run over to my sister's house where she had internet, but I didn't realize that her doors, after I set my system up, were about 12 feet tall. So much higher than my normal 6.5, 7 foot door here, I guess. So I had to tear the whole thing down and then add my attachment band. And I was like, oh, Thank goodness I had that in my bag because I would not have been able to do the class otherwise. So this is the anchor, the bar attachment. It will add about 12 inches to your system, okay? All right, so the next thing we'll go over here is one of the straps. I'll set everything up in a little bit. So here is the little rubber attachment to the door that will loop in through the bar attachment when you set it up, or it can loop over the top of the door. When you close the door, it shuts in place so that the system stays there. The next thing we have here is the release lever, okay? So when it's down, your band is locked in place. The band will not move. If the rings aren't locked, we'll get to this later, the rings will move. But then to release the band, all you have to do is pull up on the lever and then pull down on your strap and it will go. Great. So in the back here, we have the 9 hook. See if you guys can see it here. So this is our 9 hook that goes on the back of the Primal 7 unit. So this is the one where we'll loop our straps through to lock our band in rings in place. And this hook is also, another person in there. This hook is also beneficial because there is a little attachment on your rings. There's a little web here, right there at the top of your ring, that if you want to stow the ring while you're doing another workout, if you're not using the rings, you can just loop it right through that little hook there, and it will give you a little extra just kind of support so the rings are kind of out of the way so you're not looking bopping around with them at all. So the big thing about that 9 hook is you're not hanging on the rings while it's in that 9 hook, because that 9 hook is weight bearing. Basically, you don't want to put a lot of weight through it. Just the rings are fine. Okay. All right. So then we're going to move on down the line here to, well, we've got our safety covers that go over the band release lever, and then our safety clips down here where our belt goes in, just kind of like a little seat belt. Okay. And then we have our rings. Rings are great for arm workouts, promoting some symmetry. You can also do some stretches with them. So another great thing here is our ring. All right, so I'll set those down, and then moving along to the last part here is our band. Okay, so we've got 3 different kinds of bands. I have the P1 band, which is up to 175 pounds of resistance or extra help. There's P2, which can go up to 275 pounds, and then P3, which can go 275 to 400 pounds of assistance, basically. Okay, so different kinds of bands there to whatever level you need. All right, so first thing we'll get started with here, I'm going to show you real quick the bar attachment here. I don't have a bar mounted above my door or at my house. I just use my door. So if you do have a bar that you are going to mount this on, all you'll have to do, I'm just going to use my arm to demonstrate. You're going to loop this over your bar. See, I have a loop right here. I'm going to pull that black slot through. So it's just hanging just like that on my arm. So my arm is basically the pull-up bar that you hang it on. If you need it to go up a little higher, loop it through again. Okay, so on and so forth till you got it up. I think I can possibly get my arm in there a 3rd time, but I'm not gonna, just because it would probably be a mess to get out of. It's a lot easier with a bar though. So that is how you would put it on with the bar, okay? And then once you've got your bar attachment on the bar, you'll take your system here. I'll bring it up close so you can see, okay? All I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take that top rubber piece and I'm gonna push it straight through the slot, okay? Then flatten it out, okay? So it is all nice and steady and sturdy in the band. It will move side to side, but it is not coming out, okay? You can jump around in it, fly around, and it is not coming out. I tried it. I've really gone through the ringer with this stuff, really testing it, and it does not come out. So once you do want to take it down, all you do, bring it up, put it perpendicular to it, and then slide it right back out. Okay, so that is how you would use an attachment. Okay, All right, so I'll put my attachment straps away, and now we're going to progress over to the door. So real quick here, let me move my second camera up here. So hopefully you guys, you can see it a little bit better here, or a little closer. Bear with me just a second. Trying to get you guys the best positions here so you can actually see what I'm doing a little bit better. Move this here. There, I think that's a little bit better. All right, so I'm going to pin this guy up here, side by side. Yeah, so hopefully you guys can see me double now. Okay, all right, so now we're gonna set it up. I'll set mine up on my door. So first things first, you wanna make sure that you are using a door that opens inward like this. Okay, so you're actually using the door frame as the support and not the actual door. If I would go in to the other side and flip around, what would happen is my door would hinge and come open at the top that way, and you can break the door that way. So don't do that. Always be on the side where the door swings in, okay? So now that I have my door picked out, first, I'm gonna put both straps in one hand, okay? I also don't have my band attached, just not yet. Oh, hold on, it says that you're not seeing me from the second camera. Shoot, let me see here. I don't know if everybody else can't see me from that second camera either. I thought it was such a good idea, shoot. Let me see. If you scroll through, if you go on the upper right-hand corner and scroll through until you find my door, you can pin me. If you go to the upper right-hand corner of that door, you can click the three little dots and click Add Pin, and it will put that picture up so you can see it a little bit better. And hopefully you're able to see that second camera a little bit better, okay? Perfect, awesome. Okay, so back to our setup here, okay? I'm going to, first, I'm not actually putting the band on yet. It's a lot easier to put this guy up if you don't have the extra weight of that band. So don't attach the band just yet, okay? Both straps in one hand. I'm gonna open my door here. Hopefully my golden retriever won't pop out at you guys. He's standing right there. And then I'm just gonna close the door kind of 3/4 of the way. And I'm gonna slide over, okay? So then I'm gonna close my door nice and tight, all right? So from here, I want my straps about shoulder width apart. And then I'm gonna give them a little tug there, all right? So now I'm all set up with this. So now I can go back to my band, all right? So coming here, I'm gonna bring my little clip up, just like a little belt, flip it on in there. And from here, I wanna make sure that my band is not twisted, okay? So I'm gonna take care not to my band, all right? Then I'm gonna pull my covers down around my little clip. All right. And I'm all set up there, okay? All right, so talking about our little release levers here now, we're gonna move into this. So whenever we want to raise the band up, okay, all I do, hopefully you guys can see me here if I bend down a little bit, I'm gonna take my rings and I'm just gonna press it down, okay? Now notice what happens, I was able to press down on my left side, but not my right side. Little troubleshooting trick here. If one side's not pressing down, the reason is because it is locked in this 9 hook up here, okay? So I would unloop it, okay? And now I can freely press down on that ring and it goes all the way down, okay? So if there's ever a time where you're like, oh no, my rings aren't moving, it's because they are locked in this little 9 hook back here, okay? All right, so if I want to move the band down a little bit lower, All I have to do is lift up my release levers and then put my foot in the band and press down. Now, if you don't want to put your foot in the band, if you're a little bit worried about balance, you can do one at a time, okay? So you can come to one lever here, lift it up, and then pull down on your band, all right? And then you can go to the other side and lower it the same exact way. Okay, so there is a component there. If you don't want to step in the band because of balance issues, whatever, completely fine. Just do one at a time there. Okay, all right. So then to lock the band is actually locked right now. If I step in the band and try to move in it, it's not going anywhere because these release levers are down. Now, the only caveat to this is your rings. If your straps are not hooked in that 9 hook, like I showed you earlier, your ring is going to move, okay? Move on both sides. To lock your rings, if you are going to do ring rows, bicep curls, shoulder stretch, stuff like that, what you'll do is you'll take both straps. Make sure you've got both straps. You're going to make a little loop, and then you're going to hook it through that 9 hook back there. You guys can see it there, okay? So I'm going to repeat it over here. I'm going to make a little loop, stick both straps through there. And now when I tug on my ring, nice and taut, not going anywhere, okay? So I always recommend to make sure that you push down on the rings to make sure they are locked before you go and do a ring row, because you'll fly all the way back if it's not locked. I have unfortunately done that before, just in the middle of the workout, moving tune, I forgot to do something. So happens to the best of us. Get back up, lock it, and get on, okay? All right, so if you want to stow your rings, like we talked about earlier, during a workout, if you're not using them and you don't want them bopping all over your door, you can take the little webbing here, like I showed you, on the top of the ring, and then just slide it with the other straps on the back of that 9 hook right there. Hopefully you guys can see it a little bit, okay? So it's hanging up there. And again, like I mentioned earlier, we don't want to hang and try to do a pull-up or anything when our rings are stowed here, because that clip isn't meant to be really, really load-bearing, okay? All right. So if you are having the rings down, you can move the safety covers up, okay? And you're done there. Okay. Let's see here. So that is door setup. So a lot of people ask me, how high do I need to do this, setting everything up? My door is basically a standard height door here, in between 6.5 to 7.5 feet tall is the optimal setup. Now, if you are significantly taller, you might need the extra bar attachment straps. Or if your door is a lot taller, like at my sister's house that I talked to you guys about earlier, you might want those extra, that extra 12 inches to kind of help you out a little bit. And a way to know if this is actually set up high enough is to get in and do a squat, okay? So I'm going to bring my camera back here so you guys have a little bit of room to watch now. All right. So I'm going to come into my band, all right? Come into my lean, feet hips width apart, toes slightly out, okay? So I'm in my good lean here. From here, I'm going to squat. So I can go through my full squat range of motion without any problem here. Now, if the band is set too high, what will happen is when you do your squat, it's going to pull you forward like this, okay? So your chest will be dipping forward. So that's when you need to think, okay, maybe I need to add that bar attachment, or I need to first actually just lower the band a little bit, see if that helps out. But if it's consistently going on, then you need to add that extra 12-inch bar attachment length, and that can help you out a little bit, okay? See here. Any other little troubleshooting things here before we get to some Q&A? Oh, another little thing that I have people tell me about every so often is that the band pinches them. So what I say to that is you can, one, just shimmy it down maybe a half inch or so and see if that helps. A good little quick tip is take 2 fingers and put them right in the crease of your armpit. If you put the band directly at where that middle finger is, it should be resting comfortably there. If not, you can always take a towel, a hand towel, and wrap it once or twice around the band, and then, you know, take some tape and keep it in place. And that can help too if it's kind of digging into your sides or at your hip or wherever you're doing for your exercises. And like we said earlier, one quick thing that a lot of people say is, hey, my rings aren't moving. What do? I can't figure it out. If the rings aren't moving, if you go to push them down for the band, it's again because your rings or your straps are locked in that 9 hook. So if you want to use your rings, all you have to do is unloop it from the 9 hook, and you'll be able to push that band up and down, hopefully without any problems. Let's see here. Any other little troubleshooting things that I have forgotten? Let me see. Also, for balance, if you're having a tougher time with balance and you have adequate space with your band, what you can do to kind of help it out a little bit is to widen your straps. So instead of shoulder height, you can go almost all the way out against the door, and that will give you a little bit of a wider base of support. Now, if you want a narrower base of support, you just bring the straps in to a little bit more further in from shoulder height, and that can help out as well. So that's a little thing, just a little tip with like balance. If you're having issues, you can widen it for more support and lessen it for less support, okay? All right, so I think that does it for going over setup here. Anybody have any setup questions that I can help you with? Let's see here. Kathy, do you have a question? Sorry, I just saw that hand there. Okay. All right. If anybody has a question specifically about setup or anything like that, feel free to unmute. Yeah, sure. Ellen, you can definitely, can you show the door opening again? Did it open towards you? No, actually the door opens away from me. So that's what you want to make sure of when you're going to set up, that when you're standing here, I'm not going to open it because it will come crashing back on top of me, but when I would open the door would open in away from me. I don't want to set it up with the door opening towards me because it's going to torque and pull on the actual door, and we want to use the actual frame as our support. Okay, so hopefully that made a little bit more sense. Okay. All right, anybody else have a question? You can feel free to type it in the chat, or you can show me your screen or unmute, whatever you guys are comfortable with for any troubleshooting things. So again, I don't have a bar set up at my house. And I again showed you on my arm how that's set up. I've seen people mount a rig over the door in their house. I've seen people do it in their garage. I've seen people hang it from like a pergola outside, as long as that structure is in a very stable, like a stud or concrete or block or something like that, and it's not going to move. When you put weight in it, then that's perfect. Again, Ellen, hi. What band would you choose? So is it based on your weight or the resistance needed? So that's a great question. It's actually both. So the first band can go up to 175 pounds of resistance, okay? The second goes up to 275, and the next one goes up to 400. So for me, I picked the one under 175. So the reason being is my weight is under 175, but also I've got pretty good control of my movements. So my push-up, my squat, stuff like that, I am able to do that pretty well with minimal resistance. So that's why I chose that. So if you're very new or you've got a lot of pre-existing injuries or have just a lot of difficulty getting through a full range of motion, I would start with maybe like one band. If you have P1 and 2, I would maybe start with it a little bit higher. So it gives you a little bit more support. So think of that band as a buddy or a spotter. So you see somebody maybe at the gym doing a bench press and there's always somebody behind them if they're really heavy, for just in case they start to struggle and they can spot you. So think of that band as the actual spotter. So as you get stronger and you're not needing as much help through your range of motion, you can go down to that lower band then if you want for a little bit more of a challenge and to be able to move a little bit with less resistance, if that makes sense. Okay, hopefully that cleared it up. All right, anybody else have a question at all? Let's see here, I'm trying to think of any other little things that people have asked me in the past about this. You can jump around and do plyometrics in this band. It's not going anywhere. As long as you have it using the door frame, like the door opens away from you and you have it set up on that side, no problem at all. Just don't have it on the other side where it's pulling the door open. And you'll actually see it if you've got it on wrong. You get into the band and pull on it, you can see the door at the top go open that way. So you definitely want to be using the frame, okay? I have used this for plyometrics. I've done some like in-place jogging in it, side-to-side speed skaters, jumping, and it's been great. Just make sure if you're doing plyometrics that you have the rings locked up so they're not swaying all over the place. Another good tip too for setup is you want to make sure that you've got enough room around you. Just kind of spread your arms out wide and move basically in a 360 without hitting anything. So if you can take your arms out front to back and then side to side without hitting anything, you've got some good space to move for your Primal 7 unit. And a lot of people are like, well, I don't really run and jump around, but it's still nice to have just, you know, a little bit of extra space to move so you're not, you know, bopping into furniture or walls or anything like that, okay? All right, anybody else have any questions? Feel free to put that in chat or unmute. Coming up here, I gotta grab my phone here. I'll talk to you guys just a little bit about the upcoming classes here. Okay, if nobody else has any questions. All right, so coming up, so tonight was just a setup workshop, trying to help you guys kind of troubleshoot any setup things and kind of learn the parts, stuff like that. So coming up this week on Wednesday at 12:30 Eastern, 11:30 a.m. Central Time, I'm going to be doing shoulder class number 1. So that is actually on our YouTube page if you guys have never gone through it. So I designed those kind of body part classes to be kind of like pain relief classes that, so it would be like exercises that I would give somebody to do if they had like shoulder pain in my PT clinic. So I'd send them home with like home exercise sheets. So that's kind of how we based those little series off of, is to kind of be like an accessory program to either get you in a little less pain, hopefully, or to be as an accessory program so that you build a little bit more stronger muscles and can hopefully help prevent injury down the road as well. So you don't have to be in pain to do those classes or to look at those videos on YouTube. It can just be an accessory program to your workouts already. All right, and then, so that would be the last class of October. I'm not sure if Heidi has sent out the email yet about November classes, but I'll just give you a little heads up for next week. On Wednesday evening at 6:30 Eastern Time, 5:30 Central, I'm going to be doing core stability class number 1. So those videos have not been released onto our YouTube page yet. or been put on our website yet. It's my newest program that I designed, and we'll be starting with holds. So learning about your core a little bit, what it is, what it does, and then going through some movements to hopefully build your core, which is essentially from here all the way down to your butt, is considered your core, front and back. So it's a little bit more than just your abdominals. So we'll kind of go through that and do some strengthening exercises to kind of help you build a well-rounded core, okay? And then let's see here. On Thursday, November 5th, I'll do a lean and squat workshop again for those who missed it last month at 6:30 Eastern, 5:30 Central Time. We're going to be talking about getting into the Primal 7 lean and also into the squat and kind of helping you guys problem solve with that. So that's just the first week in November. Heidi will be sending out an email with a whole bunch of other ones. So we'll be doing another setup workshop in November, another push-up and row workshop. And then each week we're going to be doing a weekly class. So it'll be based on the core stability series. And then I think we're doing a lower back video one. And then I think a neck and upper trap. Don't quote me on that one. But I think it's thrown in there sometime as well. So we're going to have like basically 2 classes a week for November. Okay. All right. Well, if nobody else has any questions, thanks guys so much for joining. Appreciate all your questions and kind of hanging out and coming to see, hopefully, if you can, you know, get your system up and moving a little bit better. We do really, really stress the importance of getting everything set up safely so that you can, 1, move without falling down, but 2, be able to finally get moving in your system and get into better alignment and better posture so you can further prevent injury, hopefully later down the road, and get into good movement patterns and habits. Okay, so that's really what we wanted you guys to get out of this, is getting it all set up and be able to start moving. Okay, all right. Yeah, Scotty, definitely try getting it up. If you have any questions at all, please don't hesitate to reach out. I'll put my email down here. It's jenna@primal7.com. Okay, so I'll share it there. And then for anybody who ever has any troubleshooting questions, please, if you forget my email, go onto our website and hit the contact us button, and somebody will definitely get back to you quickly. A lot of times it's Heidi or Jessica. And if you have any questions for me too, they can forward it on to me, and then I can get in touch with you too if you forget my email. So just an FYI to you guys too, if you want to go back and look at this class tonight, we will have this posted hopefully in the next 2 to 3 days on our Facebook group page. So anytime you want to go back and see any of these workshops or classes, they will all be posted in that Facebook group. Either that, or you can email me and I can send you the link as well. So we don't post these publicly to YouTube. We just have a private link that we send out to people that want to have it, and we post it in our Facebook group. So if you guys want access to like the lean and squat workshop that I did, or this one, or any of the classes that we did before too, if you happen to miss them, if it's an off time, you can always go back and find that link in the Facebook group or email us and we'll send it to you as well. Okay. All right. Well, thanks guys for hanging out with me tonight. Hope you have a great night, and I will hopefully see you on Wednesday at 12:30 Eastern, 11:30 a.m. Central Time for shoulder class number 1. All right. All right, guys. Take care. Have a great night. I'll see you later.